I had lunches on. I had like this thin sweater thing. And I'm like, you're gonna get too hot now. My classes are freezing. And this place she made me change. Math class is 68 degrees. Oh, someone made it 64. Wow. And you spent like
I haven't done the other.
Alrighty. Let's go ahead and
probably.
all right, we're supposed to be checking our homework. I see some books that aren't open. Let's go ahead and get our books open so we can get ready and check. I'm trying to get Jonas logged in. There he is.
Oh my gosh, he has a fever.
He does?
Yeah.
JP's in quarters. Oh, I was not supposed to.
Okay.
On all the little holes and I wouldn't think I'll do it.
Oh, yeah.
You made it
All of them.
Yeah.
They're all from.
Yes, I bet each individual hole is from a principal.
Yeah, they just had a class. That's all they did.
Alrighty, so let's go ahead and we had our homework on page 44. Homework was on page 44. We are working with clearing our equations. We had maybe we had some absolute value problems. We have where we were having to clear our decimals and clear fractions, okay? So let's see, this is from lesson 20. All right, so what I'll do is I'll go ahead and call out the answers first. Go ahead and check your work. If there's any of these that you would like me to work, we have
I
to.
did notice that. See, I was trying to figure out the problems. I would do them on my own, and then I would check myself, and I didn't go back and fix it, but I realized it was wrong.
Okay. All right. So let's go ahead. We had activities 3. So let's go ahead and look at the first one. We will do, we just had 2 in activities 3 that was dealing with our, all right, I'm gonna get my eyes to focus. Okay, so remember in these, we had to also check for extraneous solutions, and we talked about that at the very end of class, I believe, last week on Thursday, and we talked about how to find an extraneous solution. We had to plug the solution that we found into the original problem and see if it made a true statement. If we found out that a number was equal to a number and it was a true statement, or did it have a number equal to one that was not an equal number, and that meant it was an extraneous solution, okay? So the first one we're going to be looking at is the absolute value of, oh my balls. I think I'm on the wrong page. This is lesson
20.
Lesson 20.
Page 44.
I do have algebra.
I know. You probably shouldn't. You should turn your flashlight on. I have to do it even in the light. It's gonna be
But
harder.
like my teacher book.
I've seen the teacher book.
I need glasses for
Excellent. Now on the bottom page here. Yeah, I All right, so I guess it would help if I got the right page pulled up. All right, let's go ahead and get all the talking to stop. My page loaded. All right. Here it comes. There we go. Now we're on the right page. So we were doing 7x, the absolute value of 7x plus 9 minus 12 is equal to 3x minus 23. And the solution on that, you would end up with x either equals -5 or, let me get my glasses. I can't see this one. See how this is going to work. Okay, so x is equal to -5 or x is equal to 1/5. You may have ended up with 2/10, but it reduces to 1/5. When you plug in 5 or plug in -5, then you should have found that that was an extraneous solution, and -1, it should be an extraneous solution. Questions on that one? Do we need to work it, or did everybody get that they're both extraneous and you had -5 and 1/2?
Understand what extraneous means.
Okay, so let's go ahead and look at that.
Let's
look at how we would find
it can't
that.
be regrouped through the problem.
And maybe if you're talking, I'll get you to come up and demonstrate how to find the extraneous solution. Who wants to do that? Nobody? Oh my gosh. All right, so let's take a look at this. So we said that what we have to do in these problems is the first step is to get rid of our absolute value, okay? So we need to isolate the absolute value. So that means I need to add 12 to each side. So I end up with the absolute value of 7x plus 9. That's a terrible number. Equals 3x. And then we have -23 plus 12. So we know that we're going to have to find the difference. We take the sign of the larger, which is negative. And then 23 minus 12 is going to give me 11. Okay. So we talked about how the first one for my positive, I just basically am eliminating your absolute value signs. So I have 7x plus 9 equals 3x minus 11. And then for our negative problem, we would have 7x plus 9 equals, let me do this first. Let me put my negative and then parentheses around 3x minus 11, okay? So basically, I've got my positive option here by just eliminating these absolute value symbols. And then here, I put the negative in front of exactly what's over here to take the negative of it. But now I have to distribute that negative when I work this problem. But the first thing we'll do is work this one. Okay, so now I need to move my 3x by subtracting. And so I have 4x plus 9 equals -11. Subtract 9, and 4x is equal to -20. Divide by 4, x is equal to -5. Okay, that's how we did the first one. Now we need to distribute this negative over here. So I have 7x plus 9 equals -3x plus 22. Now I'm going to start moving things. I would add 3x to each side. 10x plus 9 equals 22. Subtract 9. 10x is equal to 22 minus 9 is going to give me 22 minus 10 will be 12, so that's going to be what, 13? Right? No. What did I do wrong?
It's 11.
It's 11. Why did I distribute? I distributed a whole 2. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't even know. All right, so let's fix that. So it'll be 11 and 11. So now 11 minus 9 is 2. Divide by 10, x equals 1/5. Okay, so that's how we ended up with our two possible solutions of x equals -5 and x equals 1/2. Okay, so to be able to look to see if they are extraneous means that I have to plug in each of these options into my original equation. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move over to the side and do that real quick. So I've got the absolute value of 7x plus 9 minus 12 is equal to 3x minus 23. Okay, so I'm going to start with putting in -5. So I have the absolute value of 7 times -5 plus 9 minus 12 equals 3x minus 23. So now I'm working within my absolute value symbol. So I have 7 times -5 is -35 plus 9 minus 12 equals 3x minus 23. Then -35 plus 9 is going to give me the absolute value of -46. No, -26. Minus 12 equals 3x minus 23. Man, I'm supposed to be putting -5 in. Let me fix that real quick on the same side. Actually, once we do this, we'll be figuring out. -5. So that's going to be 3 times -5 is -15 minus 23, which is going to be -38. Okay. So now I have the absolute value of -26 is going to be what? 26 minus 12 equals -38. What is 26 minus 12? 14. Does 14 equal -38?
No.
It does not, so that means -5 is an extraneous solution. That even though it worked out over here where we were able to go through the problem and say x equals -5, when I plug -5 back into my problem, it does not make a true solution because 14 does not equal -38. So that is an extraneous solution on that one, okay? So now we're going to do the same thing, plugging in that 1/5. So I'm going to see if I can just kind of delete a few things and not have to do the whole entire problem. Don't know if that'll work or not. Okay, so we're going to start off by plugging in that 1/5. It is not negative. Okay, so I have 7 times 1/5 there, and then that's going to be 1/5 there. Okay. So 7 times 1/5 is going to give me 7/5 because numerator 7 times 1 is 7, denominator 1 times 5 is 5, bless you. And then 3 times 1/5 will be 3/5. Now on this one, notice I've got a denominator of 5 that I'm going to have to clear because to be able to add fractions. So first of all, I'm going to multiply. So I've got 7 times 1/5. Did I end up erasing that whole one? So we said 7/5 plus 9 minus 12 equals 3/5 minus 23. Okay, so I've got to be able to have a common denominator of 5 to be able to add 7/5 plus 9. So I'm going to have 7/5 plus, and I think about what? I've got to have a denominator of 5. So if this originally is 9/1, and I have a denominator of 5, that means I have to multiply 1 by 5 to get to 5. Now I've got to multiply 9 by 5. So that's going to be 45 minus 12 equals, over here I've got 3/5 minus 23. 3/5 minus, I've got to have a denominator of 5 again. If this was 23/1, I multiplied that by 5, so 23 times 5, 10, that's going to be 115. Did I do that right? Okay, let me erase that so I'll have room. Okay, so now 7/5 plus 45/5 is going to give me 52/5. Yes?
How come you got 45 instead of 16?
Because here I've got 9/1, right? And my denominator goes from 1 to 5. So to get from 1 to 5, I multiply by 5. So if I multiply that denominator by 5, I have to multiply my numerator by 5. 9 times 5 is 45. I had to multiply it. Okay? So now I've got the absolute value of 52/5 minus 12. And then I've got 3/5 minus 115/5. So I'm going to go ahead and simplify that right-hand side, and 3 minus 115 will give me a negative 112 over 5. All right, so the absolute value of 52 over 5 will be 52 over 5 minus 12 equals negative 112 over 5. I'm going to go ahead and have to make that 12 something over 5. I'm just going to keep working my way down. 52 over 5 minus something over 5 equals negative 112 over 5. If 12 is 12 over 1, and I'm having to multiply by 5, what is 12 times 5?
60.
60. All right. Now I have 52 over 5 minus 60 over 5 equals negative 112 over 5. What is 52 minus 60?
8. No, wait, negative 8.
52 minus 60 is negative 8 over 5 equals negative 112 over 5. Are those equal to each other?
No.
No. So I had to go through a lot of work to show that they are extraneous. Okay, I get that. Not fun, but you got to do it. Okay. So
Is there a right answer?
So basically what we have found is in this problem, because both of these that we possibly look for solutions, if they're both extraneous, that means there is no solution to this problem. This problem has no solution. Okay?
Okay.
But the whole point in going through this is for you to be able to process through it, to be able to go through the steps and understand how to get from here to here, how to check your answer to see by plugging it in, does it make a true statement? Okay? Because it's a pattern of reasoning for brain development. Okay? We always want to jump in and get the right answer. We always want to go in and go, hey, there's one right answer. I want to do it the fastest, quickest way. I don't want to have to worry about showing my work. I don't want to have to worry about reasoning through things. But as we get higher in math, as you go on, you've got to develop these processes to be able to help your reasoning and understanding. Just like when you were little and you might have used counting bears or blocks or things like that to be able to add, and then eventually you got to where you could do it in your head. All of these different things are helping you to learn to do new things more independently versus having to be more concrete. Because what we're doing is we're getting our brains ready to go more abstract when we get geometry. Okay? All righty. So there is a method behind the madness. I know it's frustrating and it's the same kind of thing. I get it. You know, I'm right there with you. But it is necessary. Sorry. All right.
Sorry.
Let's look at the next one. The absolute value of 3x minus 2 minus 3 equals negative 2x plus 5. We're going to look at our possible solutions on that one. And we have x is equal to 6 or x is equal to negative 26.
Yeah.
Okay. How did we do on that one?
Not good.
Not good? Okay, let's
I already knew I was going to get these problems wrong. The
Let's
more
work
the other
through
ones are
this.
more positive to these, but these are terrible.
Okay. So, if you missed it, then that means you might need to be paying attention a little bit. So when it's on the test, you know how to do it. Okay, so let's take a look at this. What is our first step? Yes, Evelyn.
I thought the packet was the test, Remember when you were
Well,
like,
on the assignment, that'll have these. That'll count as a quiz. I mean, it's going to count as a test grade. It is, but I mean, it's counting as a test grade, but it is the packet. So you're still going to have to do them for a grade, whether it's a test, a quiz, an assignment, whatever. What is step 1?
You have to get the absolute value.
Okay, I need to isolate my absolute value. Right now, there is a minus 3 with it, so to get it by itself, I have to add 3. Okay, so now I have the absolute value of 3x minus 2 is equal to negative 2x, and 25 plus 3 is 28. All right, what is my next step? I've isolated my absolute value. Now what do I need to do? If you don't know, look back at your lesson where we wrote these notes down. Hopefully you wrote them down.
we have to get rid of
We've got to set up 2 equations. The first one is just basically where we eliminate our absolute values. So 3x minus 2 equals negative 2x plus 28. What is my next equation going to be?
negative. It goes negative 1 and then
3x minus 2 equals, I'm going to have my negative.
1. Or
It's going to be a negative 2 times negative 2x plus 28. Okay. So we've set up our two equations. So let's go ahead and start solving the first. I need my exponent, my variables to be on the left-hand side. So what do I need to move? What kind of 2x? Well, what is it right now?
add it.
It's negative, so I've got to add it to both sides. And 3x plus 2x is 5x minus 2 equals 28. I will tell you that on your packets and on your assignments, I must see y'all work. If you do not show your work on your packet, then you have to attach line notebook paper where you've shown your work. I will not accept just answers on these, okay? So know that when you're looking at your work right now, look and see where you missed a step. Look and see where you made the mistake, okay? I need you to get in the habit of showing all your work. So as we go through these, you're able to identify what was your mistake, why did you make it, so then when you do it again, you won't miss it. Okay, so we have 5x minus 2 equals 28. What needs to move now?
2.
That negative 2, how does it move?
We add 2.
Add 2, add 2, so 5x is equal to 30. Divide by 5, divide by 5, and x equals 6. So look at yours. If you missed x equals 6, why did you miss it? Where did you make a mistake in your process? Okay, if you did not get x equals 6 as one of your solutions.
Just didn't put the right.
Okay, so you see, so you can see where you went through the process and you got everything right. You just made a mistake in writing your answer. I see that a lot on tests. And so a lot of times that's when I'll circle. If I've seen that you've gone through the right process, but then for some reason you've got your answer right here, but it's wrong over here, guys, do I need to separate y'all? Then I try to be lenient on that and just not, you know, I'm not going to count the whole thing wrong when you've done the whole process right. That's the point of showing your work, so I can see that you got the process. I'm not going to count the whole problem wrong just because you transferred an answer incorrectly. If I can see your work where you did it right, I'm going to give you credit for that, okay? So the first one we found was x equals 6, so now we're going to move over to the next problem. And the first thing we have to do is distribute that negative. And I've got 3x minus 2 is equal to a negative 2x becomes a positive 2x. And a negative, I'm sorry, and a minus 1 or negative times a positive 28 becomes a negative 28. So remember we talked about if there is a minus sign in front of parentheses, that just means I'm taking the opposite of each sign. So negative becomes positive, positive becomes negative. So you're just taking the opposite sign. All right, so now I have a positive 2 on the right-hand side that needs to be moved by subtracting. So 3x minus 2x is x, minus 2 is equal to negative 28. Add 2, x is equal to negative 26. Okay, so here were our two possible answers, 6 and negative 26. So now we've got to look for extraneous solutions, okay? First thing I do is I plug in a 6. So 3 times 6 minus 2. Oops. This is our absolute value. Minus 3 equals negative 2 times 6 plus 25. 3 times 6 is 18. 18 minus 2 is 16. So we have the absolute value of 16 minus 3 equals negative 2 times 6 is negative 12 plus 25. So I have 16 minus 3 equals negative 12 plus 25. 16 minus 3 is 13. Negative 12 plus 25 is 13. 13 equals 13. So 6 is a correct solution. On the last ones, we ended up where we had something didn't equal. So when we plug that 6 in that we found right here, for each place that we have x in our problem, we ended up saying that this side is equal to this side. So 6 made it correct. So it is not extraneous. Need to do the same thing over here, except for we're plugging in negative 26. So I have the absolute value of 3 times negative 26 minus 2 minus 3 equals negative 2 times negative 26 plus 25. All right, so I have 3 times negative 26. All right, so 3 times negative 26 is going to be a negative. 6 times 3 is 18. 3 minus 1 is going to be 78. Minus 2 minus 3 equals negative 2 times negative 26. A negative times a negative is a positive. 2 times 26. 2 times 6 is 12. It's going to be what, 52? Plus 25. All right. The absolute value of negative 78 minus 2. What is negative 78 minus 2? Negative 78 minus 2. Negative 80. So the absolute value of negative 80 minus 3 equals 52 minus 25. What is the absolute value of, I've done something wrong. What is it? Did I write the original problem correct? 3x minus 2 minus 3 equals negative 2x plus 25. 1 minus 2, we said negative 72 minus 2 is negative 80. Negative 80 minus, so then I have a 80 minus 3 is equal to 52 minus 25.
Can I go to the bathroom?
You may. Oh, I just messed my plus sign up there. There we go. It's not minus, it's plus. So, okay, so what is 80 minus 3? 77. And what is 52 plus 25?
77.
77. Okay, so we found that both of these answers work. So both of these, 6 and negative 26, are solutions for this equation. So we looked at the first one. We found that neither of our problems could be solutions, so the answer is no solution for that problem. And you had to show that they were extraneous. All righty, moving on to activities 4. I'm gonna erase all this down here so I've got room. All right, so activities 4, our first row across the top, we are multiplying. And when I multiply variables with exponents, what do I do with the exponents?
Add them.
You add them. So activities 4, we're going to go across the top. Okay, so across the top, my solutions. The first one, negative 90a to the 8, b, c to the 3rd. Negative 90a to the 8, b, c to the 3rd. The one next to that is negative 120, d to the 7th, e to the 9th, f to the 5th. And then finally 308, g to the 6th, h to the negative 3rd, I squared. Questions on any of those?
Did you say negative 3?
Which one? No, it's positive. Because a negative 11 times 4 would be negative 44, and negative 44 times negative 7 becomes positive. Okay? Now we're going across the next row, which is division. Remember, when I'm dividing, what do I do with my exponents? Subtract them. Okay, so going across the next line. Okay, so going through the next one with division. The first one is 4j cubed, k to the 6th, m cubed. Yes, quickly. The middle one is going to be 7n to the negative 3rd, p cubed. Or you could have 7p to the 3rd over n to the 3rd.
To the negative 3rd?
Because it's negative 3rd. Because
Which
you have
one?
p to the 8th. We're in the middle. Okay. So notice if I'm dividing, I have n to the 5th and n to the 8th. 5 minus 8 is negative 3. So you're going to have 7n to the negative 3 p cubed. I want to show you something real quick. 7n to the negative 3rd p cubed. how did we say we make a negative exponent positive?
You have to
Reciprocal.
Reciprocal, okay? So we know that if we're looking at n to the negative third, okay? N to the negative third over 1 is what we're dealing with right now.
Wait, do we have to make it positive?
So to make it positive, no, the directions did not tell you to make it positive. I'm just telling you how, okay? So it said, so we talked about how flipping it, I would have 1 over n cubed. Is everybody good with that? So basically 7 n to the negative third p cubed ends up being 7p cubed times 1 over n to the third. So 7p cubed over n cubed is another way of looking at that if it said to make everything positive, because this n to the negative third, to flip it, to make it positive, would be 1 over n to the positive 3. Then when I put it all together, my positive 7p cubed stays in my numerator, n to the third is now in my denominator. So that's how, if it says to make everything positive, you use those reciprocals, and whatever, if it's 1 over something, then you know what has been made positive is now in the denominator. All right, and then the last one in that row of division, I have 1/4 r to the negative 9th t to the negative 12th. Now another way to do that is, again, we could flip it and make our
I wrote two.
exponent
I wrote two,
positive.
but I wrote both of them.
I did a decimal.
Okay.
I didn't know which one was right, so I just wrote both.
Okay, so in this situation, what is 18 divided by 72?
0.25.
Okay, so 0.25. And then I would have r to the 4th minus 13. So what is 4 minus 13?
-9.
Negative 9. And what is 7 minus 19?
Just
Negative 12. So to flip those and make them positive, if you wanted to keep it 0.25, you could have 0.25. In your numerator, but then everything in the denominator, you'd have r to the 9th, t to the 12th. But if you kept it as a fraction, you would have 1 over 4 r to the 9th, t to the 12th. Okay, so all of your negative exponents would end up in the denominator to make them positive. Okay. All righty. Now let's get down to the next section where we are clearing decimals, or just using our, I'm sorry, we're not clearing decimals just yet.
we did one.
Okay,
One
so
decimal
distributive property first. Okay, so I would distribute my 6 to v plus 5. So I'm going to end up with 6v plus 30 equals 2v plus 66. What does v end up equaling?
9.
V equals
9.
I noticed in the book they just skipped that, but like how they got the 6v and turned it into a 4v. So I was so confused on how they did that.
Okay, so because here I would subtract 2v.
Oh, so that was
To be able to move it, you've got to be able to subtract it. So again, that's the kind of thing where go through, show your work, show every single step that you do. So to be
I
able to,
showed the work, but it's like the book skips the work.
I know, but that's why, so that's why you need to be looking at your work, because if you did 6v minus 2v, you would see that that equals 4v. Okay, so the book does, the teacher's edition does skip steps. So that's why going through your process. All right, the next one, 12 times w minus 3. 12w minus 36 equals negative 3w minus 111. What does w equal?
5. -5.
Negative 5. W equals negative 5. Questions on either of those? All right. Now, in this one, we have a denominator of 7, a denominator of 4, and a denominator of 28. What is the number I need to multiply everything by to clear the denominator?
28.
I need to multiply everything by 28. Okay, so one of the things I want to show you, if you haven't picked up on this just yet, when I multiply this times 28, this times 28, this times 28. Okay, if I have 5x over 7 times 28, 5x times 28 over 7 plus, let's start there. What could go ahead and cancel here?
7 and 28.
That. And what is 28 divided by 7? 4. Okay, so 5x times 4 is going to be what?
No, 20x.
20x. Does everybody see how we did that? We were able to simplify before we actually have to really multiply anything. Plus, now we're doing 28 times 2x minus 3 over 4. What can cancel there?
The 28 and the 4.
The 28 and the 4. What is 28 divided by 4?
7.
7. So now I have 7 times 2x minus 3 because that cancels with that. Equals 251 times 28 over 28. What cancels here? 28 and 28. So I'm left with just 251. So if you go ahead and cancel them before actually even multiplying, because that would be a whole lot to multiply 251 by 28. But if you can just see that, hey, 28 divided by 28 is 1, so I don't even have to multiply anything.
Yeah, that's what I did. I forgot to simplify.
Okay. So now I distribute my 7. So 20x plus 14x minus 21 equals 251. I need to combine like terms. I've got 20x plus 14x. What does that equal? 34x minus 21 equals 251. What do I need to move? 21. How do I move it?
Addition.
Add it. Plus 21 plus 21. 34x is equal to, what is 251 plus 21?
272.
272. Divide by 34, divide by 34. And what does x equal?
8.
8. Okay. Again, on these problems in your packet, I need to see your work. Okay. I need to see where you have written out your problems step by step. Show your work. If you don't show your work, I'm going to give it back to you to redo. All right. What do I have to clear here?
Decimals.
Decimals. What is my highest decimal place?
100.
To the hundredths, which means I multiply everything by 100. Okay, so 1.3x becomes 130x plus 0.16 becomes 16 equals 0.9x becomes 90x and 0.02 becomes 20. Alrighty. Subtract 90x from each side. 130x minus 90x is going to give me 40x plus 16 equals negative 20. Subtract 16, subtract 16, 40x equals negative 36. Divide by 40, divide by 40. X is equal to, my answer is a decimal, a problem. My problem is a decimal problem. So what kind of answer do I need to have?
Decimal.
A decimal. So what is my decimal answer?
0.9.
0.9.
I got negative 0.9.
It is negative. Because we
yeah, I
have
forgot.
negative 36 divided by 40. We have a negative divided by a positive, gives me a negative. And 36 divided by 40 is 0.9. Questions? Okay. So y'all can see it almost took like a whole class period just going through these answers. These are not quick and easy things that you're working on. These are things that are going to take time. So don't expect just to fly through them and be done, okay? So what we're gonna do, go ahead and get out your packets.
What about page 3?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I thought we were doing this in class, but I just have another separate page where I did the problem.
Okay, well, hang on just a minute. Let's really quick, let's go ahead back to lesson 48. Page 48, lesson 21. Okay, again, we had absolute values. We had to check about extraneous solutions. So this is lesson 21, page 48. I'm going to go through the answers quickly. If you miss it, I want you to circle it during our work time. I want you to rework it, okay? So for activities 3, you should end up with x is equal to -6 and x is equal to 8/7.
Yeah, I got that. Right.
Okay, if you got one right, great. If you missed one, that's the one you'll need to recheck. And then you will find that they are both extraneous. I'm going to put both EXT.
I knew they were both extraneous.
Okay, 7x minus 6 minus 2 minus 3x plus 32. X is equal to 4 and x is equal to -7. They are both true. No extraneous. Activities 4, you should end up with x is equal to -2.8. X is equal to 1.94. Underneath that, x is equal to -1/2, and x is equal to 1. Okay, so these will be ones that if you miss anything during work time, let me see if moving that closer will help make it a little bit bolder. Okay. Go ahead and get your packets out. If you need to correct any problems from homework, go ahead and leave your book open so you can correct those problems first. Then go ahead and get your packets out during the break. Is there anybody that does not have their packet with them? Okay.
And I thought we were fully doing in class, so I don't think I could correct I don't think I read the instructions right. I thought we were doing in class, not correcting in class.
No, we're working on the packet in class.
Oh, so I was right.
Yeah. Okay. So is there anybody that does not have answers written in their packet yet? They may have a blank packet with them. Okay.
I wrote answers that ones we already did, so.
Mine's blank and has page numbers.
Yeah. I wrote
Do you want to use mine?
If I could, that would be awesome. Okay, so during the break, I will make a copy of the packet for those of you that do not have yours today. And then we'll be able to work on that.
Oh my God. I got 1, 2,
Did I put my name on it? Do you want me to erase it?
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Okay.
None of them have already been done for me.
So if you missed any homework problems, now's the time to kind of work on that.
I'm sorry, my friend. I apologize for her. I'm so sorry, my friend. Okay, I just. Mine no. How dare you? Is this the right one? Yes.
This is the one that starts out multi-step equations.
Okay, children, calm down.
I won't send you on a copy here. I know it's about to be. All right, you may take a break.
Okay.
Okay, good.
She contacted us to make it like I know.
Storm.
He's got the ruler.
Thank you for letting me borrow that. That's fine. Let's see, Mark was here. All right, I'll start going back down. All right, come in.
No, my head's plastic.
Come in.
It's warm and then it's immediately cold when you go down here.
All right, so let's go ahead and talk about what will be. Let's go ahead and talk about what are assignments and what is bonus and all that good stuff in here.
Hey,
Yes.
so I didn't realize there was like on page 38.
I fixed one of the problems. I haven't fixed the other one
There
yet.
was homework pages that I didn't realize were homework,
Okay.
but then I did them. I'll just, do you want me to turn them in after?
Okay. That's fine.
I'm a bigger favorite.
All right, so go ahead and look at your packet.
I got you back.
Let's not throw anything at each other. Let's look at our packet. Let's talk about what is an assignment and what is going to be bonus. So let's look at page 1 of our packet. Page 1, multi-step equations. No more throwing, please. Okay, so multi-step equations. Let's go ahead. So on page 1, we are going to do one through 16 is your assignment. So 1 through 16
Both even.
is part of your assignment. And then 17 through 20 is bonus. 1 through 16 is your assignment on page 1. 17 through 20 is bonus. Turn the page. Look at page 2, clearing fractions. Clearing fractions. We will have one through 8 is your assignment. 9 and 10 are bonus.
We did
had homework for it
And I
already.
actually did all the stuff that you already assigned.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Then you're ahead. So then on page 3, 11 through 14, 15 and 16 are bonus.
Wait, say that again.
11 through 14, and then 15 and 16 are bonus. This is on page 3. Page 3, 11 through 14, 15 and 16 are bonus. Page 4, decimals, clearing with decimals. Actually, pages 4 and 5 are all the same. So you can see that on pages 4 and 5, we've got numbers 1 through 18. Now notice on page 5, we not only, well, I guess on both pages, we not only have clearing fractions, but decimals as well. So we're going to work on a couple of these in just a moment. Your assignment for these, though, will be 1 through 12, and then 13 through 18 bonus.
What pages?
This is pages 4 and 5. 2-step equations with decimals. Okay, so when I send a packet, it's probably a good idea when you print it out to staple it together, so that way you've got it all together. Pages 4 and 5, 2-step equations with decimals. 1 through 12 is your assignment, 13 through 18 bonus. And then the very back page, absolute value equations.
all on the last page.
Okay, so absolute value equations. 1 through 10 and 11 through 18 bonus. I will write all this up on the board in case you need it, in case you didn't get something down, in
You
case you
also
just want to
sent an
double
email.
check. Huh?
You sent an email like 2 weeks ago. I think saying about this.
Okay, and I can't remember if I sent the assigned things or if I changed it
I
just
think
now.
it was,
But
yeah, it was different.
Yeah, it
assignment.
was different. I should do it now.
do you have it written?
Yeah,
You know,
it's pages.
Because I think I've given more this time.
Yeah, page 1 it was 2 through 20 even.
I think that was before I decided to make it as a quiz grade. When I was planning on still giving a test on this too, I think I gave that assignment. So we'll just amend it to this is what it's going to be. Okay. So I'll go ahead and put this on the board. So packet, page 1, we said numbers 1 through 16, and then 17 through 20 is bonus. Page 2, 1 through 8, numbers 9 through 10 bonus. Page 3, numbers 11 through 14, 15 and 16 are bonus. Pages 4 and 5, numbers 1 through 12. We have 13 through 18 bonus. And then page 6.
My pages aren't numbered.
1 through 10, numbers 11 through 18 bonus. Okay, so I will come help you put them together if you don't have them in order. This is what you're working on right now. If you have questions on anything, I want you to go talk about them. Real quick, before we do that, let's get your pages put in order real quick, Chad, and then I want to work on a couple of problems with our 2-step equations with decimals. Okay, so go ahead and you can turn in your packet to those pages. It's pages 4 and 5. Okay. Here are your pages. Okay. Go ahead and pull them all out. We're going to put them in order. There's a multi-step equation. Okay, so that's page 1. Page 2, Algebra 1 clear instructions worksheet. Page 3, we'll start with number 11. Looks like, so what is on the front of that? Okay, so that is actually page 4 in here.
Don't hurt
Page 5 starts with number 9.
Okay, a little too hard. Sorry.
My dad will do that.
Okay, so that's page 5. And then page 6. The absolute value.
Her hand's cold.
It looks like you just had extra copies of everything. Because that's the same thing.
Okay, too hard. Thank you. Enjoyed it, right?
I thought you said you had yours though.
I have a bruise.
Right. But the copies I made were for Mark.
Didn't do that.
and
Like
hers,
Joey
but then
had
they didn't have their
that.
packets here today, so I made copies for them. Okay, so make sure you got your pages. Let's go ahead and take a look for just a minute. Let's go ahead and take a look at, let's see if I got this packet loaded real quick in my email. I need to transfer it over. So quietly, go ahead and start looking at this. Okay. Remember, go ahead and open your textbook also to lesson 21. Lesson 21. I want you to look at the steps that it tells you in clearing multi-step directions, multi-step equations.
I'm on the first one.
No, I just said, look, we're going to be working on packet page 4.
Yeah.
But look at lesson 21, look at solving algebraic equations, multi-steps. Look at the steps. What is the first thing it says you would do?
Eliminate fractions.
Okay. So let me find.
What?
Sorry.
First time at brunch.
Where did she go?
You're despicable.
What?
No.
Oh, my dad picked me up and showing.
Okay, so let's look at page 4 of your packet. Number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what does it say I need to do to solve each equation?
Eliminate fractions.
I need to eliminate my fraction first. How am I going to eliminate that fraction?
Multiply by
The denominator.
Multiply by the denominator. Notice our denominator is a decimal. Okay, so I need to multiply this side by 2.8 and this side by 2.8. Okay, now this is going to be a good calculator time. Now notice if I have 2.8 times m over 2.8.
It's just m because it cancels out.
Okay, so 2.8 and 2.8 cancel. So I'm going to have m minus, what did I do there? Not dividing. What is 2.8 times 4.9? 13.72 equals, what is negative 7.11 times 2.8? Negative 19.908. Okay. So we said that where you have m minus 13.72 equals negative 19.908. Now we clear our decimals. How do we determine what we need to multiply by to clear decimals?
1,000.
Okay, we look at the places after the decimal.
Oh no.
We've got 2 places here. We've got 3 places here. So I need to multiply everything by 1,000.
Yes.
Okay, so now I have 1,000 times m and 1,000 times 13.72 and 1,000 times negative 19.908. What is 1,000 times m?
1,000 m.
1,000 m minus, what does 13.72 become?
13,720.
13,720. And negative 19.908 becomes?
19,908.
All righty. So now I have 1,000 m minus 13,720 equals negative 19,908.
So would
Now
you just
we have-
add
What am I trying to solve for?
13,700?
M, so what needs to move? I need to add 13,720 to both sides. Okay, so I'm gonna have 1,000 M is equal to, now notice I have not a negative 19,908 and positive 13,720. So what kind of answer am I gonna have, positive or negative?
Negative.
It's gonna be a negative answer, and I'm gonna find the difference. So I have 19,908 minus 13,720, and that's gonna equal negative 6,188.
Yeah.
How do I solve for M?
I got it.
Divide by what?
1,000.
1,000. Divide by 1,000. M is equal to, what is 6188 divided by 1,000?
Negative 6.188.
Negative 6.188. So the first thing you have to do is clear fractions. Once you've cleared your fractions, you need to clear your decimals. Now remember how I talked about how if you want to set everything up to where you've got everything, where what you're multiplying by, just like we did the 2.8 times M over 2.8, where it makes it easier to cancel before you do anything, okay? So what you want to try to do is look to see how you can set it up, cancel before you work it, okay? What my recommendation to you is that during this quiet work time, while you've got me to come around and help you with questions, whatever you're not understanding, you've got me to help with. While you're working, work on the thing that you find the most challenging. Things that you know that you're going to be just fine doing on your own, save that for when you're home and you don't need help, okay? But the main thing is I want to make sure that you are working first and foremost so you can get your work done. You have less to do at home, but also that you're not disturbing your neighbor and interrupting their learning, okay? So please be respectful of your neighbors, getting their work done as well, and go ahead and work on your packet. We will make this packet due in 1 week, okay?
So
So
next
this will
Monday?
be turned in as a quiz grade next Monday. Next Monday will be a home time, so you'll just upload it, okay? So I think I had said originally it would be due this Thursday.
Yeah.
So we're going to postpone that. We're going to give you a little more time. If you get done with it by Thursday and want to go ahead and upload it, great.
So October 7th.
Okay, so a week from today, is that October 7th?
Because
No, October 5th.
Oh,
I think a week from today is October 5th.
okay. Yeah, it should be.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's there, but
Okay, so this is due October 5th. Okay, I'll go ahead and put the lights on so you can work, and then that way if you have questions, please let me know so I
I
can
would rather get the light.
Would y'all rather have the light off?
Mm.
Is it?
Yes,
I'm
please.
immune to bright lights.
I was gonna say, I mean, if it's not as-
I got that one.
All right, so let me know if you have questions. I need to see your work on this, so no just answers. I need to see work. All right, if you have questions, let me know. Remember that when you're dealing with your absolute values, you're going to end up with 2 answers. Now notice on this, it does not say to tell me if it's extraneous or not, so don't stress about that.
Did I do this right?
Just a minute.
Or
Right here. Wasn't sure what else to do with it. On number 7.
Okay, so, okay, so remember, so if you need to look back at your text, remember that with absolute values, the first thing you need to do is isolate your absolute value. So if 7 times n, how would you get the absolute value of the n by itself?
Subtract from.
What operation is going on with 7 and n? Multiplication. How do you undo multiplication? Division. Okay, so you would divide by 7, divide by 7. So you have the absolute value of n is equal to what? 8.
Oh, okay.
So remember, with absolute values, we're going to have 2 possible solutions. So what could n be? It could either be 8 or it could be, if it's inside the absolute value, negative 8. So you could have either 8 or negative 8. But the way you would start that is you've got to isolate the absolute value first. Okay, so if it's multiplication, you undo by division. How's it going, guys? Any questions? Okay, so remember when to be able to eliminate a fraction, I've got to find a number that both 4 and 3 will divide evenly into. What is the smallest number that both 4 and 3 will divide evenly into? Okay, so that means I've got to multiply this side by 12 and this side by 12. Okay, now how did you change that to 12? So, okay, so hold on just a minute. So in this, I'm not adding or subtracting, so I do not change my denominators. I'm multiplying my entire equation by the number that will eliminate the denominator. I'm not trying to make common denominators. I'm trying to eliminate. So what? Well, okay, let me see something. So what you're going to want to do is okay, so we're going to multiply these. So what is 12 times 3? So I've got 36 over 4, 2 is equal to what's 12 times 2? 24 over 3. What is 36 divided by 4? 9. Okay, so we'll have 9, 2. Equals, what's 24 divided by 3? Okay, how am I going to get 2 by myself? 9. Okay, so it is 2 equals. Now remember, it's a fraction problem, so you leave your answers in fraction form. Well, no, that 3 is typed on my paper. Yeah, so 2 equals 8 over 9. Okay. Yeah, so when you're clearing those denominators, you're multiplying by a number that both of them divide evenly into, but you're not making common denominators, you're just multiplying everything by it to clear that denominator. Yeah, so 4 minus 1 is 0. So really it's not no solution yet, so that's going to be 0 minus 4 equals 0. So it will be no solution.
Yes.
You just do the circle with the slash.
Wants to be negative
Huh?
6, right?
Are there a few on the original solutions? That's one of the things that this, the student software, I don't know why, they'll throw some in like that, just to.
Six or negative 6, since it's negative, some value. We can make it a positive 6 or see
Okay, so the first thing you would have is you would just have 6x is equal to 30, or 6x is equal to negative 30.
Yeah.
So remember, you just eliminate, or I guess for that, for the absolute values on, you're going to take the absolute value of it. So
Okay.
if it's a negative in there, it's going to be positive when it comes out.
I just wanted to
Okay,
make
yeah, yeah. So you're just taking the absolute value of 6 down. Or actually, you know what? It's gonna. But what is the operation here? How do you undo multiplication? Not subtraction, you're gonna have to divide. You're gonna end up with the same answers whether you keep it as a negative or change it to a positive, because you're gonna have to do, one's gonna be. Use your time wisely, please.
Oh, that's negative.
Okay. Well, so you added that, so it's still negative 7880. So it's negative there, and you divide by negative, and you're going to divide by negative here as well. Now look here though, how did you go from 78,000 something to 7,300 something? Okay, so it's in 78,408 plus 5,400. Oh, so your comma's just in the wrong place. Okay, because that's where I was thinking this was 7,300. Yeah.
Wait, what's that? Oh, I did 47. Because 17 would have made yeah, because 6m equals negative 42.
Okay, so here, notice these are on the same side, so then we sort here and combining like these. What is negative 4x minus 2? Thanks for letting your neighbors trying to get their work done, okay? Guys, I don't mind if you're helping each other, but you can off is not okay, Let's use our time wisely. And negative 4 minus 6. Okay? So I owe Mom $4 and I just borrowed 6 minutes. How much do I owe now? Okay, so a negative minus something is going to be a bigger negative. Or you can change it to where it's negative 4 plus a negative 6. Okay? So on this side, so you're going to have negative 2 equals negative 10x.
That's
So go ahead and write that.
when you do the negative 42.
Okay, now we're trying to solve for x. What is with x? Okay, and negative 10 is with it. What operation is it? And subtract, multiply by. What am I doing? Multiply. How do I undo multiplication? Division. So what are you going to divide by? I'm trying to get this guy to go away and get x by himself. So divide both sides by negative 10.
because negative 10 divided by negative 10 will cancel out. So all you have left over here is going to be x. And what is negative 20 divided by negative 10? A negative divided by negative is positive, and what's 20 divided by 10? Oh, 2. Good. Good. Yeah. So the first thing you had to do was combine like terms on that side before you could even start working. Okay. I'm going to go to the buttons, okay? Okay. So we have denominator of 5 and 2, so we multiply everything on this side by 10 and everything on this side. So that means even that 2y has to multiply by 10. 20y. Okay, so if you multiply 3 and 10, what are you going to have? 30. What is 30 divided by 5? Okay, so go ahead and You're going to have two possible solutions. So you got to set up your positive and your negative. Here you have 6m equals 42, and then 6m equals negative 42. So you've got to set up two problems. You may want to make yourself a note at the top of your absolute value sheet. Solve for both positive and negative solutions. You're going to have to do two problems for your absolute value sheet. That's, I think it's the back page of the last sheet.
I don't think it's gonna I can go and look for letters.
Okay. Remember, you have to multiply the whole entire thing by that. Take my page. Lined out. Yeah. Okay, so let's look at this real quick. What would your denominator be that you have to multiply with that?
12.
Okay, so if you multiply 1/4 by 12, what are you going to be left with?
1/3.
Because remember, so go ahead and look at this.
It would be 3.
Okay.
I think it's negative 3.
So if you multiply that by 12, you're going to have what you say?
3.
Okay. Negative 3w. Okay. Now you have to multiply this negative 3 by 12 is what? Guys, why? Why am I having to get on to y'all so many times today? If you were done with all your work, that would be great. I could go ahead and take it up and grade it. Now I have to multiply the right hand side by 12. What is 12 times W? So you already put your equal sign here. So okay. So now we have negative 3W. Okay. I think that you don't want to get yourself confused with two negatives here. So go ahead and erase one of these negatives. There we go. So we have negative 3W minus 36 equals 12W plus 4. What needs to move? We need my W's together. So you can either move this one over here or this one over here. Okay, so if you're moving this one, you're having to add it. Okay, so you've got to add it over here too. But if you added it here, you have to add it here. Okay. I didn't know if you need to have a plus sign there. Okay. But you're not adding a negative. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, you're adding it here, so you just need a plus sign here, not plus a negative. Okay. So then now you've got 36 is all that's left here. So you should have 36 equals 15W plus 4. How are you going to move that 4? It is positive, so how do you move it? Good, so put minus 4, and then minus 4 under the 36. So what is 36 minus 4? And you need to come move up to the front, because I think this is probably the 5th or 6th time I've said something today.
32.
Okay, so 32 equals? Good. Now how do I solve for W? Well, I can't, that's not what I'm thinking about here, because I'm solving for W, so that means I have to, if this is multiplication, so that means I divide to get it apart. No, I'm not simplifying, okay? So let's go ahead and move this up here so you have a little more room. Go ahead and write 32 equals 15W. Okay, so you know how we've been doing things to each side? We've been using our products of equality. So if I subtracted on this side, I had to subtract on this side. If I add on this side, I had to do that. Same thing here. I've got 15 times W. To get W by itself, I have to divide by 15 to make it go away. But if I divide on this side, I have to divide on this side. But remember, I've got to write my answer in a fraction form, not a decimal, because I'm working with fraction problems. So go ahead and put divided by 15 over here. Okay. So you've got 32, you're divided by 15. Okay. So another way to write that is 32 over 15. There we go. Equals W. Okay. And so you would just go ahead and, what are both of those going to be divisible by?
2.
No, they're not both even. So they're not going to be divisible by anything, so that's going to be your answer right there as an improper fraction in simplest form. So you're going to want to go back and check these, because you've got to be able to multiply by your denominators, like we've multiplied everything by 12 here. Here you're going to have to multiply by 15. Here you're going to have to multiply by 10. Here you're going to have to multiply by 3.
It might have been more here where I should have been messed up. I know that those would be able to be really more for the problem.
Yeah, if it's just a single term, then that's fine, but when I have more than one term that I'm multiplying by, I have to multiply every term by it. So yeah, when it's just a single term, you can just use those reciprocals. That's great.
Yeah, that was fine. That's fine. Yeah, it was. I did that one correctly. So it's
Okay, so
here
now
where it
these.
started.
Okay.
There it is. So there's.
Okay, so on this one, you're gonna multiply, you've got a 2 and a 5, so you're multiplying everything by 10. Okay, so it's 10 times 1/2. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because 10 times 1 is 10, strand divided by 3 is 5. Okay, now we're doing what's 10 times 2.
Right?
Well, yeah, but you don't have to worry about the 2 right now. We'll just add it on. Good. Now we got to multiply 10 times that minus 1. So what is 10 times 1? Okay, but that's that one. You've already you already wrote a 1 there, but we're actually multiplying 10 by that -1. So you've written the 1, so it should be -10. No, right here with that 1 should be a 0.
I forgot it was negative.
Yeah. There we go. Equals. Now we're doing 1/5 times 10. We'll have 2t. Now, what is 10 times t?
10.
Good. All right. Now, I need to combine like terms over here. What is 2t plus 10t? Good. Okay. Over here,
9t.
well, no, because that doesn't have a t. That's just a 5. Yeah. So you have a 5 and a -10. What is 5 minus 10? Good.
And then the 4t just goes
Nope. Well, you got to keep it over here. So 4t minus 5. So now you have equals. And you added these two, 12t.
-1t.
No, honey. We simplified this right here. So this is this simplified. This is this simplified. So now we have 4t minus 5 equals 12t. So now we've got to move our t's from one side to the other. So how are you going to move that 4t?
Subtraction.
Good. That is 12 minus 4. Good. But over here, I've got my -5 equals
18.
good. So now I'm solving for t. What are we going to divide by?
2.
Nope. Remember, I'm
8.
trying to get 8 to go away. So divide by 8. No. Over here, if you divided this side by 8, you have to divide this side by 8. And remember, we got to write that's a fraction, not as a decimal. Okay, so just like you did, -5 over 8. Okay, that's so. One of the things that may help you, instead of doing your division signs like that, oh, grab a piece of paper real quick.
Our little gratitude symbol.
Instead of writing it, so like if you have, what was it? You had -5 equals 2. Is that what it was? Okay. Instead of doing your division sign, if you do it as a fraction. So if you're dividing that side by 8, divide this side by 8. Those 8's cancel. So then you have -5 over 8 equals t. So then that way you can see it as a fraction better. So then that way, because if you're having -5 divided by 8 equals 8t divided by 8, it's harder to see what it's going to look like as a fraction. So if you just go ahead and write it like that, before it's time to go, does anybody have questions before it's time to go? Huh? Do you have a question? No. All right, you sure?
I have a question.
Okay, just remember, look back at your textbook, look back at the lessons that correspond with each packet page, okay? If you need to look back to the steps on how to clear something, it's right there in your book. You know what the questions are? Okay. What is -4x minus 6x? What is -4 minus 6? Okay, so you have -20 equals -10x. You just had to combine like terms. You gotta simplify first. Okay, please look around at your area. Make sure you've got it cleaned up. There'll be another class coming in. Lunch in here, so let's make sure it's picked up. If you have questions, please don't hesitate to let me know. All right, Jonas, let me know if you have any questions.
Bye, Jonas.
Tell Jonas. I mean, he doesn't have his screen on, but.
Where's the thing?
Huh?
Oh my gosh, Jonas, turn your screen on. He's probably on.
No. Unmute.
Okay.
But he's
Oh,
ignoring
he
you.
unmuted. I heard him say something.
Speak.
I wasn't paying attention at all.
Can't hear you.
Huh? All right.
Okay, fine.
Dead.
All right, just line up with the
Bye. Really?
What gave you? I don't know what it's called. I can't remember the time because I corrected. We got something.